god! Mike and Natalie end up getting married 2 days after he dumped her on her original wedding day, and now we can confirm, thanks to Uncle Bo of all people, that Mike and Natalie have split up and gone their separate ways. You guys, we cannot make this drama up. It is freaking insane. I did a video a couple days ago saying how we now know in present day, thanks to Tamara, Mike and Natalie's neighbor, that 2 days after Mike ended up dumping Natalie, they ended up getting back together and they got married. More on that in a couple of minutes. But now we can confirm, thanks to Uncle Bo, that they end up actually splitting up. So here is the deal. A few days ago, a big 90 Day Fiance fan ran into Uncle Bo at a grocery store, I believe, in their hometown. There is the picture of them too, and she posted it on Reddit sharing this, saying, Uncle Bo and me at the green store in Sequim, or whatever, that's where they're from. He tells me Natalie lives in Seattle, she and Mike have broken up, and they have no baby. And Uncle Bo turns 51 next week. Of course, Uncle Bo had to throw in the fact that he turns 51, but let's go back a little bit to the first part, because Natalie is now living in Seattle, according to this person who talked to Uncle Bo, and Mike and Natalie are not together. So, boom, crazy. I can't believe it, even though I'm not really very shocked because they had no business getting married whatsoever. And if you are just like, hey, what is God's name is going on? Let me just kind of backpedal to what we saw on last night's episode. Because on last night's episode, we got to see Mike dump Natalie. He said it was their wedding, it was their literal wedding day. And he said, look, Natalie, I love you, but I can't marry you. I'm just not there yet. So he dumped her. Natalie flipped out, hysterically crying. She was so sad. And Tamara, the neighbor, who apparently has a mouth about, yay big, because she has been posting everything on Facebook. I guess they didn't make her sign an NDA because she's literally posting everything. But, she was the one that ended up agreeing to drive Natalie to a motel near the Seattle airport. And then Natalie's planning on flying from Seattle to France and then busing or training or something to Ukraine. That was her plan. However, she ended up leaving. Then she realized, that they needed Mike's credit card because Mike paid for the hotel. So then she ended up turning around, going back, and then Mike was like trying to kind of talk, and I thought for a minute Mike was going to smooth talk her and say, hey Natalie, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to say that, I want to try to work this out. But Mike, he puts his head in the car and says, hey Natalie, can I have that ring back? And Natalie just goes, nope, you can't have it back. I'm going to keep it to remember all the pain and hurt. And I'm like, Natalie, you were doing half of the fighting. Now I know, Mike, that was a very low, that was not cool. That was a low thing to do by Mike to dump her on her wedding day. Not cool. I lost a lot of respect for him when he did that because he could have dumped her a lot earlier. But it's like, are you really gonna freaking now, ask for the ring back? And then Natalie now says, it's just one thing after another. I don't like either of them. But he ends up giving, Tamara the credit card, and then they're on their way back to the hotel. And so we're like, okay, now they're gonna go to the hotel, and her flight was literally the next day in the morning. So I was like, well, she was just gonna jump on the plane and leave. However, we got to see in the sneak peek that it looks like Natalie goes back to the motel, and then that's when they say, actually, no, he needs to be here. The guy with a credit card in his name, Mike, needs to be here to actually sign it. Now, I don't know why Natalie or Tamara couldn't have just freaking, fronted the motel. Like, why did Mike have to pay it? Couldn't have Tamara paid it and then Mike just reimbursed her? That's why it kind of seems almost a little bit fake, shall I say? But they ended up having to go back again, and this time in the middle of the night, and I can only imagine what happens is Mike and Natalie sit down, they talk it out, and they end up getting back together because the literal next day, according to Tamara on her Facebook, they end up getting married. But now here's the kicker. If we fast forward even further, we do now know that Natalie's living in Seattle. She's been posting on YouTube religiously in a very nice kitchen. Not the kitchen that she filmed 90 Day Fiance in Mike's house. So that would make sense. And according to Uncle Bo, once again, her and Mike have split up and gone their separate ways. So unbelievable, crazy, I cannot believe it. Comment below what y'all think. I don't even know where to start. So much other stuff else happened on last episode that was freaking amazing. The first thing I want to talk about is just the thing that we're all thinking, we're all wondering what is going on, and that is with Andrew and Amira. Now, we've heard rumors, we've heard spoilers that Amira does not get on the plane to come to America, which that I find hilarious because a couple months ago, someone sent me a screenshot that looked so legit of like this US paperwork crap, and it was stamped, and it said that Amira on like July 29th came to America, and I can't remember who sent it to me, but if you are watching this video, shame on you, because that ended up not being true. We believe leave because we got to see, Amira, she was in Serbia. She quarantined for 14 days. She was having a god-awful time. The 14th day came. She went to the airport, and she got on a plane to go back to France. Now, here's kind of the kicker, though, because you're probably wondering, wait, what? What actually supposedly happened, and let me just say, too, Andrew has his story, Amira has hers, and they're two totally different things. Now, we didn't hear much from Andrew. All we kind of heard from Andrew was, he was biting his nails saying, she's coming to America the next day, and that was basically all we kind of heard from him. However, from Amira, we heard a totally different story. Amira basically said that the night before she was getting ready to leave, Andrew and her got into a gigantically huge fight, and he bought her a ticket to France and said, look, you have a ticket to America, you now have a ticket to France. So my first thought was, okay, is this guy like a gazillionaire? Because why is he just buying tickets here and there in Mexico and Serbia? What? But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Anyway, he bought her a ticket to France and you can either come here or go there. And he goes, now, this is what Amira said. He was screaming at her and he was going crazy and she was sobbing. And I kind of was like, you know what? That doesn't seem like Andrew's story, because Andrew was like acting like nothing really happened. It wasn't a big deal. However, we got to see some freaking texts on Andrew's, like coming, from Andrew to Amira, and they were not very good. Basically, Andrew texted her a bunch of crap saying, you've given yourself a lot more rope, blah, 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 kind of honestly just really kind of horrific, mean stuff. And he said that the children at the daycare are far better team players. You make your choices. You bleeped yourself in your foot. And he goes, if you've got any talking to do, I strongly suggest you engage me now. My time is limited with an exclamation point. Then Amira said something that was blurred out by TLC, so I don't know what that is. But then Andrew went back and said, it's been 30 minutes from my initial offer to help. I have but 60 more seconds in me. Then he responded back saying 5 seconds, ... And that was it. And Amira was hysterically crying. And so those messages were incredibly rude by Andrew. They were not nice, and I can kind of somewhat sort of understand why she didn't want to go to America. I get it. Andrew was not being nice. He was being rude. He was being crazy. I totally get that. My thing in my gut is still kind of telling me, wouldn't you have just gotten on the plane and let's just go see the guy? And if it's a complete disaster in a week or two, go back to France. But she decided to go to France and she didn't come to America. Andrew's acting like he was all shocked and sad and oh my God, and he was just devastated, and Amira of course was devastated too. And if you want my opinion, it sounds like now in present day, Amira is dating this new guy that lives in California who has long hair and tattoos and all that kind of jazz. And he looks kind of nothing like Andrew, which is kind of odd. My take is this. I think, honestly, Amira wanted to come on the show for fame, and I think Andrew thought Amira was some beautiful woman, and he was just like, I'm gonna, and he bought her crap. Now, I think Andrew is out of his mind, too, and I think Amira is just, I think she's honestly fake. That's my 2 cents. I think she was just faking drama for the show, to get on the show. I've heard from so many people, so many inside sources, she's been trying to get on TV her whole entire life. I heard she was talking to a guy in prison before, trying to get on TV before, and I asked her to come on the channel to clear everything up, and she didn't respond, and she read the message. So that's my 2 cents. Maybe it's different, but she won't tell me. So that's my 2 cents. I feel like she just came on the show for fame, and honestly, she really annoys me because it's like she has this whole lovey-dovey thing about herself, and it honestly, I don't know why, but it really kind of frustrates me. But Andrew, I think he's kind of just, honestly, just weird. He's very, 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 very weird. Just as weird as Amira, if not even weirder. I think he kind of tells half-truths, and I think a lot of the stuff he's saying, it's like he'll go on camera and say one thing, but he's texting her another thing, and it's freaking annoying. So I think he's just as fake as her. I can't stand either of them at this point, and it's really starting to freaking annoy me. But that is the deal. As of now, obviously, I mean, I don't know if we can say that they have officially broken up on the show, but she went back to France, so basically, they have broken up. And then we saw Jovi and Yara. I'll keep them real quick. Long story short, they went to Vegas. They flew to LA, drove to Vegas. They came with a couple of friends. Nothing really happened. Yara didn't feel at home. Yara was starting to feel like, oh my God, why am I marrying Jovi? She was starting to get really nervous. She was starting to kind of get some cold feet. And that was basically the gist of it. We're not going to see them for very long. Jovi, of course, was out and about doing God knows what. They are a crazy couple. I really feel like they have no business being together. And if they were having a baby, she'd probably be back in Ukraine by now. But that was basically it, and it looks like they're gonna end up sealing the deal and getting married. Yara is freaking mad that he brought his family and his friends, and that is where I have to disagree with Yara, because it's like it's a wedding. Who cares? Why does it be you to. It's not like it's going to be a wedding with 500 people. It's what, 10 people now? Who freaking cares? So that is the deal with those two. And now on to Brandon and Julia. Same kind of thing. Nothing's going on. They're quarantining. We got to see the mom cut the dad's freaking hair. It looked god-awful. Not very exciting. Nothing was really going on. They were all doing self-video, which I hate those selfie video things. It's like, the problem with this is reality TV is best when they don't know that they're being filmed, I feel like, and they're just kind of living their real life. And when you're filming yourself like this, you're not getting the true reality TV experience. So that was kind of stupid, I thought. But they didn't have a choice. It was in the middle of the pandemic. It was in the middle of, like, April or something. And they kind of were, like, freaking out, the mom and dad, of course, of all people, because they always freak out. And they were kind of freaking out, telling Brandon and Julia, hey, we don't know what is going to happen with this world. We don't know what is going to happen. We don't know if everything's going to close, or if she's going to have to leave if you guys can't get married. So the parents were like, maybe you guys should just go get married legally now, just to kind of get it done with. So just in case because we don't know what's going to happen in the world. And then it's like at a later date, you guys can have a real, true, big wedding. And Julia was all for it. She was like, yes, I want to get married. Brandon, he was kind of all for it too. But here's the difference. Julia wants to have a big, not big, but a nice-ish looking wedding. And Brandon was like, well, we'll just have a small one now, then a big one later. And honestly, you guys, I agree with Julia. Now, I understand they probably can't arrange this huge elaborate wedding, but Julia was like, I want to have a nicer-ish wedding now because guess what? At this later date, in quotes, it'll probably never come. We probably will never have this later date wedding. And she's probably 100% right because we all know Brandon. He has no, ambition to have some huge wedding. He doesn't have much money saved, it sounds like. So yeah, they'll probably never have that huge, gigantic wedding. And I agree with her. So, they were kind of fighting on it. It looks like Brandon will probably meet her 50-50 and they'll do somewhat of a little smallish. Now, I'm not saying they need to invite a bunch of people, but it's still just like, you could get some food and kind of make it look nice and they can kind of dress up so it could be like kind of like a real wedding because they're only going to plan on having one of them. So that was my 2 cents. That was it. And that was basically the gist of Brandon and Julia, but it looks like within a couple days they're going to be getting married. And of course, when Brandon's mom was cutting Brandon's dad's hair, she was like, well, what do you think of, are you really ready? If you're not ready, and it's like, he doesn't have a choice now. It's like they are knee deep in this thing, number one. And number two, they're in the middle of a pandemic. She can't go anywhere. Even if he did want to dump her, which I don't think he wants to at all, but even if he did want to, where is she gonna freaking go? So it was stupid, bunch of fake drama. And I feel like honestly at this point, nothing is going on. And they're just trying to kind of stir up some drama for the show. So that was them. Then we got to see Rebecca and Ziad, or as Ziad says, Rebecca, I think that's like the funniest name. But Rebecca and Ziad, we got to see them. They are also in the middle of the pandemic. They have absolutely nothing going on. Long story short, nothing is going on. They go to a Target to buy Ziad some clothes. Nothing happens. They can't do anything. They can't go anywhere. They end up being able to arrange still a wedding ceremony, which I don't know how that was even possible. But they somehow arranged a wedding ceremony. It was all self-filmed. They went on their own, did their own thing in the middle of the woods, and it appears that they do end up getting married. Now, we're not going to see the wedding, but we got to see a preview for it, and it looked pretty good. Surprisingly, not one picture leaked. Usually, a picture or two will leak when someone actually gets married, but I haven't seen one thing online, nothing from the photographer, nothing at all. So they do get married, it sounds like. They are pretty happy, I guess, in present day. Fantastic. But we got to see before the wedding, Rebecca, she was all nervous and sad, and she didn't know if she wants to do it. And Ziad, he was cool. He was ready to go. And if you don't already know, Ziad was really pushing, Rebecca. Now I'm saying Rebecca. God, I'm a freaking idiot. Sorry. But he was really pushing Rebecca, whatever, to go and get married. And, they wanted to get married before Ramadan. She didn't want to. He did. They ended up getting married. Great. I don't know. She was kind of getting cold feet. She was telling one of her friends, maybe I shouldn't do this. But it's like once again, same thing with Brandon. Same thing. I mean, I guess they could pull a Mike and say on the wedding day, okay, I'm going to get out of here, because we did get to see Mike do that. But it's like most normal people, you're not going to leave the person hanging like that, and you're not going to just completely stand them up and say you got to go home. Most normal, nice people, unlike Mike, would never do that. Then we saw Stephanie, and not Ryan, but Harris. If you can't tell by my emotions on my face, I could literally give less of a crap. Long story short, Stephanie is still in Belize. She was with Ryan, and then she ended up dumping Ryan because some stuff went down. Then Harris magically appeared, and the guy took like a 3-hour bus, a 4-hour train, this, that, and the other, and he magically appeared out of thin air, and he was there for the past few days, and Stephanie and Harris were talking like they were entertaining the possibility of actually getting into a real relationship, which if you don't know, I don't know if this is even, I mean, like, I don't want to say for sure, but we've heard a million rumors that Stephanie's now dating a man who is not Harris or Ryan. So it's like, obviously, it isn't gonna work. And so they were talking about the idea, and Harris's baby mamas and all this, or baby mama. And it's like, when you really look at it, and of course Harris was like, you know, we're not together. She wishes the best for me, and she knows about you. And it's like, what would she know? I mean, I guess it would make logical sense that she would have an idea that her baby daddy's been gone for the past 3 or 4 days, and it's like, maybe she would kind of have an idea where he went, but it's still, it's like, okay, this girl was just dating Ryan. She was actually engaged to Ryan. They filed for the K-1 visa, and your baby mom is gonna be totally cool if now you're gonna be with her. Like, it made literally no sense. The one thing I will say, though, which is kind of sad for Stephanie, is Stephanie handed him $100, $100 US, which is a lot of money for anyone. And she goes, "Is this enough food, money for your food and snacks and whatnot?" And he was like, "100." He goes, "Oh my God!" He goes, "This is enough. This is like enough money for like 2 weeks." And that just goes to show for me, it's like, okay, we all knew that he was just using her for the money, and not using her. He was just using her for the things she could buy him, for the opportunities. And he honestly kind of even admitted it. And it was the same thing with Ryan. But that pretty much goes to show, if he's only making $100 every 2 weeks, it's honestly kind of just sad. And yeah, I mean, like, I hate to be real, but it's like, obviously he was just trying to come to America, get some money, get some nice things, and that was it. But he was telling her the whole song and dance that, "I love you, I want to be with you, I want to come to America," and of course that was basically it. He ended up leaving. Stephanie was apparently really sad, and that was pretty much it. I think she's just going to get on a plane, go back to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and start dating some other guy. And the thing I will say, I don't think we're going to be seeing much more of her, because when the tell-all was filmed for 90 Day Fiance, I don't think she was invited. I don't know for sure, but I do not believe she was actually invited, which is freaking crazy. So, a little bit more drama with them, I believe, coming up, but that was about it. And last but not least, I think, last but not least would be Tariq and Hazel. Basically, long story short, nothing happened like every other couple. Not one thing happened, and they are going to be getting married in one day. Tariq and Tariq's lady friend set up a bachelorette party. It was honestly pretty sweet for Hazel. I like these two. They are incredibly boring. I want to take a nap when they're on, but I think they are in love to a certain extent, as somewhat of a friendship relationship. I think they are in love with each other, and I like them, and I wish them well. But basically, they had a freaking bachelorette party. A dancer came for Hazel, if you know what I'm talking about. Hazel was in heaven, and that was pretty much it. We got to see a sneak peek for the wedding. It looks like it was an outdoor wedding, pretty small, bigger than you would think, though, for like the middle of May, but it was pretty small wedding. They seemed happy. I wish them well, and that was pretty much it. There was one stupid scene where Hazel ended up calling her mom and dad to tell her that she's interested in men and women. And of course the mom was just furiously mad, but the dad was pretty happy, understanding, and the mom she was being rude about it. You know, she claims it was her religion, whatever, to each their own. And I don't want to say I think it was fake, but I kind of think it was somewhat just like forced, because it's like, why out of the complete blue would she just tell her parents that? And I kind of feel like the producer said, "Oh my God, we have no interesting drama of Tariq and Hazel," so they probably just said, "Hazel, tell your parents that you like women," basically. And that was kind of, it was just completely random out of the blue that she even said it. So that was about it. That was the gist of it. That was the drama. Well, guys, oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Natalie and Mike, I don't know where we stand. It appears that they have gotten married, and now they are basically split up and on the process of getting a divorce, which is freaking insane. And Andrew and Amira, I cannot believe it. But I think we have some more drama to come out, so definitely make sure to stay tuned. And also, y'all better, please, so help me God, comment below what you guys are thinking. I don't even know where to start. I want to hear from you guys. So comment below your thoughts. Let me know what y'all are all thinking. Hit that like button, hit the comment button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button, and y'all better, please, so help me God, stay tuned for many more videos.